Hey, what's up, everybody? Today I want to show you a very rare item in my collection. Well, items. I've got two of them right here. Boom. It's a can of Diet Crystal Pepsi. Now, it may not seem like anything special yet, but I will tell you all about it, and you will soon find out why these are so special in a second. But first, I want to give you a little rundown of Crystal Pepsi for those of you that are new to what this crazy, wild, and very cool soda is all about. So back in April of 1992, Pepsi decided to jump onto the clear craze of having everything pure and all of that by releasing Crystal Pepsi. Now, Crystal Pepsi wasn't just a clear cola. It was a different style of cola on the spectrum of cola. So let me just talk about the spectrum of cola. Say, here's one end and here's the other. Coca-Cola could be right here. It's got a little variation of taste. Pepsi could be right here. Crystal Pepsi was another different variation of a cola that could have been here or there or way over here. It looked different, but it was still just a variation of another cola. So Crystal Pepsi hit the market in April of 1992, and people started to really pick up on it. They really liked it. Because, oh, this is something new, weird. It was the 90s. 90s were wacky. Woo! Crystal Pepsi was released in 5 test markets across the United States. And as they picked up, they decided to debut another variation of Crystal Pepsi, which was Diet Crystal Pepsi. And Diet Crystal Pepsi was test marketed in Grand Rapids, Michigan first, and then it expanded by August of 1992. So it's kind of sketchy when it really was test marketed, but I want to say it was early in the summer of 1992, probably like May, June, something like that. And then August it exploded into the other test markets to be viable and carry on the Crystal Pepsi whole deal. Stay. And so by the end of 1992, Pepsi saw Crystal Pepsi selling quite a bit, and they were like, all right, let's take it on a national scale and make it available nationwide and in Canada. So what happened was these releases that aren't test market versions were released. And you can see right here, this is a test market release that has just a few bullet points about the soda. And the national release has a very huge paragraph explaining exactly what Crystal Pepsi is all about. You know, really trying to sell the product on a national scale. Here it's just pure cola, pure refreshment, caffeine-free, 100% natural flavors, low sodium, and no preservatives. And then we get to the national release, and it reads, right now, there's a new taste loose on the planet, a completely different kind of soft drink with a unique cola flavor. Absolutely clear, wonderfully refreshing. It's everything you want and nothing you'd expect. What you get is purely the best all-natural flavors, no preservatives, no caffeine, and no artificial colors. So, okay, there you go. That is your little lesson about the test market Crystal Pepsi packaging and the national release Crystal Pepsi packaging. Now, for most of my scanning on eBay and seeing photos of Diet Crystal Pepsi cans, you will see this can in particular. Now, take a good look at the national release of the Diet Crystal Pepsi can. It is completely white for the background and everything, from top to bottom. And I thought that was the only way it existed because, you know, by the time Diet Crystal Pepsi was released, it was pretty far into, it was a few months at least, into the testing phase of original Crystal Pepsi. So maybe they perfected the packaging to the point to where they knew exactly what they wanted. But that is not the case. Now, the only way I have found these cans in particular was through finding some guy on a Facebook marketplace listing and finding out that he had worked for Pepsi, or at least had a very close in with Pepsi back in the day when they were releasing Crystal Pepsi and Crystal from the makers of Pepsi, which I have something rare, holy grail type stuff from that release that I got from them. But these cans are the same, from the same guy. So here are test market cans of Diet Crystal Pepsi, and they look totally different than the national release. So the difference, as you could probably tell, and I pointed out, there is a gradient of a chrome at the bottom of the can, and it slowly turns into white at the top, compared to, like I said, the national release is all white. And also, there is no fancy paragraph like the national release of Diet Crystal Pepsi. The only other exception I've seen one of these cans besides what I have in my hand is from an actual promo photo of Crystal Pepsi from way back in the day when it was first test marketed and released. But besides that, these are the only test market Diet Crystal Pepsi release cans that I have ever seen, come across, and I am just so happy to have them in my possession. The only problem is the guy that had them didn't take care of them too much, or they were just sitting around, and they are kind of beat up and dented. But I don't know, maybe I could do some suction cup kind of action and make that pop back out. But regardless, yeah, these are definitely something that you will want to have if you are to be a Crystal Pepsi purist and collect every single thing. And I'm an absolute crazy fanatic for Crystal Pepsi and trying to collect everything. And I will say, I pretty much have the complete collection of everything Crystal Pepsi, including the LA Beast limited edition Crystal Pepsi bottle, where only 60 of these were made. There is one more can that I don't have that I've only seen one photo of, and it was sent to me from a good Pepsi collector dude of mine, soda collector, and he's on the hunt for it too. He's been on the hunt for it since 2015. And I'm just like, besides that, yeah, there is nothing else in Crystal Pepsi world that I do not have. Regardless if it's rare cans, German release cans, Spanish release cans. You know, I even got a reference testing can that was just made for Pepsi inside the company for people to test and try out and see if it is good and up to standard to be released. So there's that. And anyways, yeah, that is just yet another thing upon this crazy and wild journey of collecting Crystal Pepsi stuff that I've noticed, and I'm like, hey, one of these things don't look like the other. What's up with that? And upon further digging, that's what I figured out, and I wanted to share it all with the world now. So, anyways, thank you guys for watching. I am DJ Glowing Ice, saying right now, right here, hey, Sammy Hagar. Peace out.